original.
And welcome to Web Crawlers, the podcast where we do a deep dive into some of our favorite mysteries. Each week, we will introduce our topic, lay out our research and findings, reveal some conspiracy theories, and conclude with our own hypothesis. I am Allie Siegel, and today we have very special guests, Michelle and Ashley from the That's So Fucked Up podcast. Do you guys say the fucked up part, or what do you say?
Interestingly, we recently went through a rebrand. Our name was first That's So Fucked Up, and then I was trying to do Facebook and Instagram marketing, and they were like, you can't cuss. And I was like, okay, well, what if I put an asterisk? And they were like, that's implied profanity, and no. So I actually changed the name of the podcast to TSFU. But now I just released a spinoff called That's So Fucked Up Presents. And you know what? I think That's So Fucked Up is just a lot more eye-catching than TSFU. And Mark Zuckerberg and his weird lizard ass can suck it, you know?
Can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
I remember I was an editor at a website once, and when we would run articles that had I think it was even the word vagina in the title, we wouldn't be able to advertise them on Facebook or Instagram. We wouldn't be able to run marketing for them or promote them. They're so strict. It's so weird.
Yet people are burning kittens to death, and there's porn on there. I swear to God.
Yeah. And all of the series of COVID's not real.
They don't care
all
about
of
that.
that craziness. That's fine. We'll just that's fine.
How dare you say vagina?
Yeah.
Because you guys have a similar podcast to us. I love your podcast. Tell us about what it is, your episodes, what you guys do.
Yeah.
Well, TSFU, or That's So Fucked Up. I'm so confused now myself. I'm like, what the fuck is the name of this show?
Yeah.
It's been my baby for a couple years. I did have a former co-host, but she was also a film director, and she's doing awesome stuff in the film world now.
Oh, cool.
And it's pretty funny because it's a little bit of a Cinderella story with Michelle and I. I ended up moving to Denver. I was from California originally, but my ex-co-host and I never met. So I moved to Denver.
That's insane.
I know, right? We co-hosted together for 2 years.
How did you find each other in the first place if you'd never met before?
Craigslist. Isn't that wild?
So perfect.
Isn't that wild?
Oh my God.
And it worked out for 2 years.
Yeah.
But then she wanted to go work on her film career, and she has a more investigative journalism type podcast that she wants to work on, which is super not my style, obviously.
Yeah.
And Michelle was one of our $30 patrons, because at the $30 level, you get to co-host a listener-sode, which is where listeners send in episodes. So, Michelle, why did you sign up to be a patron?
So I'd been a long-time listener, first-time patron, and then through kind of listening, becoming a patron, talking to Ash a little bit on the Instagram, I was like, hey, you live in Colorado. So do I. If this isn't weird and stalkery, do you want to meet up? And we just started hanging out and became friends. And when Cam and her parted ways, so Cam could pursue her directorial things, it was here I am. And I've got years and years of practice and research on what a podcast should sound like. So maybe I could help be on one. And just kind of slid right in, and here we are.
That's what she said.
Yeah, a couple. It was a good one.
But Michelle signed up too, from what you told me.
Oh,
Michelle.
yeah. I signed up because co-hosting a listener-sode was at the $30 level, that was what you got to do. So I was like, well, obviously I'm going to do that and get to co-host an episode with these guys. And
she did such a great job just bantering with us that, when Cam and I decided to go do our own things, I was just I already knew. I was like, Michelle's a natural. So that's our love story.
Well, guys, people who are guest hosting with me, who knows? Maybe you guys can replace Melissa if Melissa never wants to come back. So who knows what will come from this listener guest hosting?
Melissa's editing this like, no.
Yeah, she's like, what? I'm going to edit that out. What is your podcast about? Like, what are some of your favorite episodes? Things like that.
Cults, murder, and other generally fucked up stuff.
Amazing.
So this was actually why I became a listener, is because I loved the variety in topics. And also I think what drew me to web crawlers is like, you've got a mix of cults and clowns and murder and disappearances and everything in between.
We have all those too.
Yeah. And so it's like, it really has, I think, a little something for everyone. And we try to present it in kind of that more like lighter, more conversational, more palatable, so that if you do love true crime, but also like don't love the super heavy tone, it makes it easier to, to digest. It's the conversations that you have with your friends who are also obsessed with true crime, but just in podcast form.
Yeah. It's like after you've watched a documentary and you're talking about the documentary with your friends.
Yes. Well, actually, Ash, you want to talk about the Binge or Bust segment that we launched?
Yeah. So when I started That's So Fucked Up, I really wanted to not just be like pigeonholed to murder because
yeah,
I don't know, murder's like so basic, but like I wanted to be able to talk about fucking shark attacks and just like weird ass shit, just whatever the fuck I want, anything that makes you go, Jesus Christ, that's so fucked up. We try to keep it pretty open and do what we want on the show. So we started a new segment called Binge or Bust, where every other week I basically just break down a documentary for Michelle. I tell her kind of exactly how it goes.
I love that. That is so great.
Which Ash, we've got House of Hammer coming. We're recording that Friday, right?
Oh yeah, I saw you guys did House of Hammer.
It's a doozy.
Yeah.
It's a doozy.
I'm only on episode 1 right now because I'm trying to stay fresh.
Yeah,
as always.
It's an interesting one. Well, if people want to listen to your podcast, what do they search? TSFU or?
Yeah, I think TSFU or That's So Fucked Up. It'll come up on either of those.
Okay, good.
Yeah, any Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we'll definitely get into that. Now, I am so excited for your main episode. Guys, take the reins. You are the captain now. Let us know.
Look at me.
Yeah,
I'm the captain now.
You are the captain now. Get into it, as we say. Yeah. Let us know what your episode is about.
Excellent. So we are going to be talking about Terri Hoffman. And she is a cult leader of the conscious development cult. And so she's been attributed to at least 10 mysterious deaths. So in thinking about, in the spirit of web crawlers and the do the research and let you come up with your own theories, we thought that a podcast with some mysterious deaths would be the right way to go. And one of those deaths happened in Ash's and my home state of Colorado. So,
oh, fuck.
A little bit of a home tie.
That's crazy. The guest from yesterday, the murder happened in her hometown too.
No way.
This is a real fun hometown thing.
So Terri Hoffman was born March 21st, 1938 in Fort Stockton, Texas, into an impoverished family. Father was an alcoholic. He was rarely around. Their family didn't have a lot of money. And so, of course, because she was poor and her father was an alcoholic, the kids made fun of her in her neighborhood. Because, kids are
so nice.
Cruel.
Assholes. So she had a momentary excitement because she thought, I'm going to have a new friend, when her mom said, hey, I'm pregnant. We're going to have a baby sister. And then her sister was stillborn. So Terri had a rough go of it. But at 4 years old, she claims she had a vision where 3 men in robes told her that she could do or be anything that she wanted if she just wanted it badly enough, and that when she was troubled, she should just pray to God and he would listen. At 4.
It was 3 men or 12 men? Sorry.
It was 3 men in robes. Yeah.
That sounds like wasn't there 3 apostles or something?
There were three wise men.
Yeah.
That brought.
And like Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Three's a real spiritual number.
There's a big number.
It's also the mark of the beast. So,
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's 666.
Anyhow.
Terry's like, all right, sweet. I'll just like keep thinking about God and everything will be great. And then when she's 9, her mother passes away from tuberculosis, effectively leaving her an orphan because her father was like so absent in her life. And her dad's like, look, I kind of don't want to raise a kid, so I'm going to take you to an orphanage. So like,
how do you do that
9.
after 9 years? It's not like it's
9
been
years.
a couple years and like
they've like lived a whole like almost a whole decade with you, and you're like,
Yeah, you have a whole ass kid.
they're like,
you're like,
this is kind
You're
of
like,
a lot.
you're really harshing my vibe here, so have fun. But while she was at that orphanage, she like got really close with this nun who I didn't realize Lutherans had nuns. The more you know. And the nun taught her about like metaphysics and the Akashic records, which have you guys heard of the Akashic records before?
I have. I've had my Akashic records read. I'm not.
Stop it. By who?
Oh, wait. Tell us more.
I've actually had my Akashic records read twice, just by like rando psychics and like Akashic record readers. Listen. I'm woo-woo in that way where I love that stuff. I don't think, is it real? I don't know. Do I think that there's people on Earth who know all the mysteries of the universe? No. But sometimes you get pearls of wisdom from it. I don't know.
Allie, I keep manifestation cards and a set of Leo crystals next to my desk. Okay. So like you don't have to worry about being too woo-woo around here. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of, and so correct me if I'm wrong, Allie, it's kind of like the whole record of like the past and present and future of the universe and all of the people's roles in it. Was this like your past lives and stuff?
Yeah. It's like essentially Akashic records is they believe that like, or the belief is that the entire story, like your fate is written in a book, like your past lives, like your present life and all your future choices are already written. And these people believe they can tap into the Akashic records and tell you like about your past life, what your current life is going to be, what your future choices are going to be. I don't listen.
Oh, mine read. It's really interesting because Terri actually reminds me a lot of Teal Swan. Like, as you listen to the story, you'll totally get Teal Swan vibes.
I just want the hookup for who can read my Akashic records.
I will email you who did it.
This is what I need. This is what I need in my life. But only if they're good.
I like them.
Oh, yes. Excellent. So she also, while she's there, she learns about reincarnation, and that really kind of shaped how like her perspective on life and death. Again, I find this super weird because reincarnation totally doesn't mesh with like Lutheran and Christian beliefs. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. This is kind of Terri's account of like what happened to her growing up. So we can, I suppose, probably take it with a little grain of salt. But
yeah,
it makes sense that she would cling on to this because like, one, she's like, oh, I've paid my penance. Like, I'm only 9 and my life has been this hard. Like, I'm clearly saving up for something good in a future life. Right. And 2, apparently she was kind of like, yeah, all these kids who are bullying me, just wait till they're going to get it. They're going to come back as like a caterpillar or something.
Wait, I'm sorry.
About who this rogue nun is.
Oh my God, that is so funny. I was going to call her the rogue nun as well. First of all, I was like, whoa, just like renegade nun over here.
Yeah.
What?
Like a plant or something? What's so bizarre?
She's like, hey, I know we talk about this stuff in church, but like, let me tell you the real what's up.
What's really going on?
Let's read your Akashic records. Don't worry about heaven or hell because it's all about reincarnation.
But can I also say that like, as my understanding works, you don't get karma points by having bad things happen to you. You get karma points by doing good things.
Doing it.
Yes.
It's,
Terri, I don't know if you understand karma.
She's just real hopeful. She's 9.
Well, fair enough. I mean, but grow up,
Grow up, Terri. Read a book, Terri. So she basically starts believing that she is special and begins to believe that she is Teresa of Avila, who's a nun from the 16th century that was known for being a mystic, and she believes she is the reincarnation. So like at nine, the year that I was like putting on dance routines of Hit Me Baby One More Time and like pretending I was a Power Ranger, she's like, I'm a reincarnated nun.
Yeah,
That's me.
Interesting life.
Intense.
What year is this again? Like what era
It would
is
have.
this?
So she's born 1938. So at 9, it would have been 1947.
Okay.
So in the 40s. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they just didn't have like as cool stuff back then.
Yeah.
The old like stick and hoop game stopped being fun. So
Yeah. The ball in a cup.
she's like, I'm a mystic nun. So 2 years later, she's 11. She gets adopted by a couple from Dallas and is renamed Terri Lee Benson. They move her to Dallas. She's like super stoked on just living a normal, like middle class lifestyle. They give her attention. I guess she like had a little bit of some squabbles with her adopted mom because her mom was like, why isn't this girl like assimilating into our family as quickly as I thought she would?
Yeah.
But, you know, overall, it's, I mean, way better than what she had. And until at 14 years old, when she's kind of having some of these struggles and things with her family, and she meets and begins dating 18-year-old truck driver John Wilder.
At 11?
At 14.
Okay. Sorry.
So she's lived with the family for a couple years, and at 14, she meets John Wilder, truck driver.
He's
He's
okay.
18.
Like, that's fine. 11's a lot worse, but 14 is...
11's worse.
But
yeah.
14 is still really bad.
Still really bad. And guess what? Her parents didn't approve. So they did what any teenage couple would do and ran off to Oklahoma to get married behind their parents' backs.
Oh God.
Where the marriage age is 14, apparently. Or was at the time.
So it's probably 7.
They're like, you just whenever
you feel
can
like
you
it.
say you can say I do.
Yeah.
You're good.
Once you're out of diapers, you can get married.
Yeah, it tracks. Hey, they were doing it in the Bible at like 14, so makes sense. So John and Terri are married in 1953. They have 3 children. Kathy, who was born in 1954 when Terri was just 16, which like,
Oh, poor girl.
oh my God. Kenneth, who was born 4 years after that, and then Virginia, who was born 5 more years after that. So 3 kids and just kind of lived a quiet life. But Terri soon kind of got a little itchy, became a little discontented, you know, because she's a reincarnated nun. So like
As
probably
one does.
the stay-at-home mom life is maybe not giving her the fulfillment she
has stuff to
was
do.
dreaming of. She has stuff. Yeah, she got some mysticisms. So she finds a group of people in her area that are interested in the spiritual stuff that she loves. They begin meeting regularly, meditating, talking about the meaning of life, you know, just like the normal mommy and me kind of group stuff. And she starts telling them about her visions. And they were like the first people that she felt comfortable revealing this side of herself to. And this was a really big deal for her. And at first her husband, John, is like, oh, this is just like a harmless hobby, gets her out of the house for a little bit, buys her some books, supports her in pursuing it. Oh. And then as she becomes more and more invested in the group and less invested in the family, he's like, okay, like,
what's going on?
Yeah, this was fine, but like also we got 3 kids and I don't know, I'm a man in the 50s, so like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So listen, guys.
Yeah.
Get in the kitchen. What are you fucking doing out here?
Yes. Put on your gingham dress and your petticoat and your apron. Go do the things. But in the 1960s, she really starts coming into her own, leading meditation sessions in her home with a group of local high schoolers and starts teaching them. Because apparently, you know what? I think about being in high school, like, dude, I was a weird high schooler. I get it. So she's teaching them everything she'd learned about spiritualism and karma. And they were just like, they were stoked on all of this. They're like, this is so cool. So we just have to like do good stuff and we like get reincarnated. And
oh my God.
It turns into like, they go from this meditation to like almost this like deep led hypnotism where she'd say like, oh, we're going to go on a tour of the astral realm and we're going to visit Buddha and the temples. And so she'd be like, Allie, look at the temple. What color are the bricks? And then you'd be like, red. And she'd be like, yeah, that's right. They are red. And everyone would be like, yeah, they're red. I see them.
No. Oh, gosh.
And then she'd be like, Ashley, what does the sky look like? And you're like, there's rain clouds. And she's like, yeah, there are rain clouds. And so it was just this very very self closed ecosystem, of like groupthink and hive mind. Mm-hmm. And so she starts telling them about how she can see into the Akashic records and is like, hey, guess what? I can tell you if the person you're dating right now is your soulmate. And so Terri just goes willy-nilly and starts like, yep, you guys are soulmates. You guys need to break up. You guys are soulmates. You guys need to break up.
Where are these kids' parents?
Where were anyone's parents in the 60s?
Or like ever.
Forever.
Yeah. Also, so how did she find these high schoolers? Like, that's so weird. She wasn't in high school. Right? No. Like, I mean, I know she was young, but she wasn't.
No, I think she just starts like leading these meditation sessions, and like the people who followed her into this and like who were interested in following her were mostly high school kids.
Handing out flyers at like the sock hop. It's weird.
Let's go
Hi,
to
kids.
the hop. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered if the person you're dating is your soulmate? Do you want to see mysterious temples of Buddha? Join me on Tuesday nights for free appetizer.
Come.
Yeah. Appetizers provided. Bring your own jello mold. This whole time, John is like watching his wife kind of like mind control a group of high schoolers. And he's like, what the fuck? Yep. And it seems to be tradition. Terri kind of quickly moves from like being able to see things to then saying she can do things. Her son dislocated his thumb at a picnic and she claims she healed him through meditation. Realistically, that guy probably just has like a real crooked thumb now.
Yeah, or she just popped that thing back in.
And she's like, I healed you.
Yeah.
She told people that she would levitate in her bed at night.
Did the husband verify this?
Probably not. No, I'm gonna bet. I bet he did not.
He was probably sleeping with a mistress at this time. I doubt he was in that bed at night.
Yeah,
he's
After
like,
all
this
these
is fucking
hijinks
wild.
she was doing.
He's like, my wife's crazy. I need help. She says that her precognition is developing. And so one day she brings one of the followers in and she's like, hey, your friend is going to die in a car accident on his way home unless we meditate right now. And then they meditated and then the friend made it safely. And she was like, see?
Oh my God.
It's like, I'm like, man, I can't wait to like be like, hey, see that person crossing the street? They're not going to make it safely unless I meditate on them right now.
Yeah. Unless you give me $10.
Yeah, give me $10, I'll save them. And when Jimi Hendrix died, because mind you, she's like leading a group of high schoolers in the 60s, her high school student meditation followers were like, of course, just forlorn. So she's like, don't worry, we're going to meditate and clear his karmic debt. Because they were like, oh my God, he did drugs and alcohol. He has bad debt. He's going to get a bad reincarnation. And she's like, we've got this. We're going to clear his karmic debt by meditating. And she convinced the whole room that they could hear his music playing. So everyone's like, we hear Jimmy. And
Jesus Christ, this woman.
So she's a nutter. So she loved her teen followers and they loved her. They like wanted her autograph. They brought her gifts. And as soon as they start bringing her gifts, she's like, hold on, I can make money and things off of this thing that I'm doing. So she realizes though that like teens are broke and she needs to find some adult followers with money. So she starts holding classes for adults. And this is where she formally names her cult Conscious Development of Body, Mind, and Soul, which rolls right off the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So usually just shortened to Conscious Development Cult, and incorporates it into a business and starts asking for love offerings of $100 to $600 in today's money.
Whoa,
which like,
girl boss.
Can you ask for love offerings?
For doing what? Just like...
Just because they
just
for
like,
love. Hey, thanks for... Just for love. Just like, thanks for...
I feel bad asking for $5 a month for Patreon. I'm like, it's just like
know,
one latte, you
insane.
guys. Like, please.
Well, see, we just gotta start calling them love offerings. And
Yeah, love
Yeah,
offerings.
we would love some love offerings of at least $100.
So as her followers are building, one of her new followers, Glenn Cooley, who is 20 at the time, Terri's 33, Glenn's 20. He takes a particular liking to Terri, and she's like, nice. So he's 13 years her junior. He's in college and was struggling with drug addiction. And he attributes being able to overcome his drug addiction to Terri's teaching and meditation. So he's like, this woman saved me. Her husband, John, obviously not stoked. And so in 1971, Terri said that John's jealousy was impeding her spiritual journey. And she tries to divorce him and wants to get custody of their kids. And in response to that, John and Terri's mom have her committed for a psychological evaluation. And I'm hoping that this was like in particular because of like her cultiness and not just because she's a woman in the 60s trying to like get out on her own. And so we don't know what the findings were, but she did get released. She got custody of the oldest and John got custody of the youngest too. So like obviously it wasn't, great because I think they tend to favor the mom in these situations, especially back then. So they were like, you can handle like 1/3 of these kids. And by the end of the year, Terri and Glenn were married. She divorces John, gets the kids, and then is just like, quick turnaround, Glenn, we're doing this thing. You're my...
Oh my God, it's kind of like Lori Vallow.
Yeah. If Terri loves anything, it is getting married. Bitch loves getting married. It's like her fave.
So they get married and he idolized her as like his spiritual leader and guide, and like she's loving that. And so they are seen as the spiritual power couple. And even though they're asking for these love offerings, she's like, I want more. So they start this company called CD Gems, which is Conscious Development Gems. And so it was like homemade, expensive jewelry. She and her followers made the jewelry, but then she also told her followers they needed to buy it for their own protection. So it's like the MLM-iest of MLMs.
Yeah.
Hey,
she's like working a sweatshop.
Yeah. She's like, make your necklace. Okay, now give me a bunch of money for it to protect you.
She's like, I blessed it. So
it's
worth it.
It's for a blessing now. It's worth it. Yeah. And, but some of the people who are starting to get deep in the organization start noticing some inconsistencies. Like she'd tell different followers the same stories of their past lives. So she'd be like, Ashley, you were John the Baptist in your past life. Allie, you were John the Baptist in your past life. And you guys just both walk away like, hey, this is great.
Oh, yeah.
John the Baptist. They start noticing like she's plagiarizing other people's work in her lectures and that she doesn't have any financial differentiation between the group's money and her own money. It's just one big pot of money, which is not great. And so we start getting to this place where like, all right, everyone's meditating, everyone's having a good time, but she sees this opportunity where she feels like to unite the group and like really bring them together. And we need this like common enemy to fight. And so that is where we begin the spiritual battles. So if you thought things were like a little wonky, it gets so much wonkier. So she grabs a group of her 40 closest followers, starts referring to them as teachers and spiritual masters, and tells them, hey, it's on you to protect mankind. And she names this inner circle, and this feels problematic, the White Brotherhood.
Yeah, Terri.
That's not.
She's like ripping off stuff all over the place. It's like, hey, that already exists. It's called like a KKK. Like,
yeah, it exists and it's
yeah.
Yeah, Terror Bear. That's no bueno.
Yeah. And she tells them that there is a war going on between the good and evil forces in the world, and that it's their responsibility to save humanity from the evil forces, which she calls the Black Lords.
Oh, God.
And they're part of the Black Brotherhood.
I'm smelling some Mormonism too.
It's
Ooh,
yeah,
boy.
it's like it's problematic. It's gross, and also like it's just not inventive. Like,
Yeah.
well, they're the Black Brotherhood, so we're the White Brotherhood, and like they're the Black Lords are in the Black Brotherhood, and so
like,
she said,
What about the
yeah.
sisterhood, Terri?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you the leader?
Yeah.
You're the leader of the fucking
Yeah.
brotherhood? Like, that's weird.
That's weird. God, the patriarchy is so It's just so established.
I know.
Yeah. So she's like, look, these Black Lords are traveling the spiritual realm to fight us. And in order to kill them, you have to take them to the pits of hell where their soul and lower bodies will be dissolved.
Okay, Terry.
Yeah. But even worse than the Black Lords are the Black Overlords. So like one level up. Yeah, they can't be dissolved in the pits of hell. You have to take them to electromagnetic dissolving caves.
Of course you do. Everyone knows
Yeah.
that.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But worst of all, the Garbons. Which, like, at least this one sounds different, but I also just feel like maybe she was eating some hummus or something.
Yeah,
and she's like, God, I love garbanzo
That
beans.
is exactly what I was just thinking. I was like, I don't know. That sounds like it got like a lot less dark all of a sudden.
Yeah, just garbons. Well, they're 6 feet tall with long beaks, have a gargoyle-like appearance covered with slime. They've even been known to be able to touch the physical so they can leave slime on the body of their victims. So everyone else is fighting in the spiritual realm, but like you might get slimed by a Garbon. And apparently, if after 30 seconds or a minute you feel a tingling sensation in your hand, or if your hand is shaking, you should assume that you have a Garbon stuck to the hand. Using your imagination, wrap it in barbed wire, stab it, and kill it. Then imagine the dead Garbon spinning straight up and dissolving in the universe.
So if your hand falls asleep, it's because a Garbon is holding hands with you?
Yep. And you gotta imagination kill it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So this sounds a little nuts, but like she's kind of been grooming and like building this group think this whole time. And so she begins, now we go from like these mental, like individual fights to these full on spiritual battles where she would tell them like, hey, we've got 40 Black Lords that we need to fight. So everyone's going to meet up and you have to bring a rod, a cup, a sword, and a cloth bag containing dirt. And apparently these all represented different archangels that would be with them. But don't worry. These things don't have to be, especially the swords, don't have to be full sized. So you could bring a pen or a letter opener or those teeny tiny plastic cocktail swords.
Oh my, like for like weenies.
That's
like
how you're going to fight the lords with
And that's how you're fighting them.
Makes sense.
And
Checks
so,
out.
yeah, so Terri would be like, all right. So they'd be there armed with their things. And Terri would be like, all right, there's a Black Overlord in the center of the room. Everyone fight him. And there'd be a circle on the ground and she would tell them the moves they had to do. And you just have a room full of like accountants and college professors and learned people waggling their sword paraphernalia to kill these mysterious beings.
This is
And-
like LARPing. This is so embarrassing for them. This is really embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
This is like, I'd be really embarrassed if I were you, Terri. And then at the end, she would tell them how many they had killed. And apparently they were just always behind. It was always just like, oh, they're still gaining on us.
Oh my God.
And at this point, a few people are like, you know, I was with you. I don't think I can do this anymore. And so Terri then told everyone that if you defected or didn't follow her wills, then you were going to be a vessel of the Black Lords. So,
She is just checking off all the cult boxes.
yep. And so this is where our mysterious deaths start happening. So in 1976, Terri decides she's done with Glenn. He'd been saying, I guess, that he was kind of over it, and she beat him to the punch. Divorce went super smoothly. Everyone was like, great, Glenn will still be a part of the group. Like they're still on good terms. They're just divorced. And all of a sudden, on February 2nd of 1977, Terri calls two of her close friends and followers, Dawn and Alice Hoffman. Terri says she found a note from Glenn leaving all of his money and possessions. And in this note, he, of course, asked that no one contest this leaving all of his possessions to Terri, you know,
That's
just in case. And she's like, oh my God, you guys, this is so weird. I'm worried Glenn may have done something drastic. And so they drive to this, his parents' cabin, and they find him in bed, foam coming out of the edges of his mouth with a half-finished beer and some loose pills next to him. And it appeared he had committed suicide. But at his funeral, Terri starts telling all of their followers that this was the work of the Dark Lords and that the followers needed to commit even harder for their own protection and to save humanity. And then a mere 5 months after Glenn's death, Terri married a different follower, Ben Johnson, and thankfully she had all of Glenn's money and possessions to help them comfortably start their life together.
I didn't even know about Ben. Like, I'm up to, by the time we get to Mead, we're up to Dawn. I don't even know this Ben character.
Ben, we got Ben. Ben isn't a big, strong character in the story, but he's there.
Jesus.
So as Terri's building her empire, she gets this new follower, Sandy. So she's like, hey, I need someone who is like really financially padded to help back some more of our work. Finds Sandy Cleaver and uses Black Lords and spiritual battles to manipulate Sandy into becoming one of Terri's strongest supporters. So Sandy's wealthy from a trust fund from her parents passing when she was younger. So she's bankrolling conscious development. And Sandy's husband, Chuck, is like, this lady's nuts and she's scamming you out of your money. And Terri's like, and Sandy's like, that's some non-believer shit. And now I'm going to divorce you because you are impeding my spiritual growth.
Duh.
Oh my God.
So she divorces Chuck and they had a daughter, Devereaux, who at the time is 13. And Sandy gets awarded custody of Devereaux.
Oh no.
And Devereaux, as any 13-year-old with a crazy mom would probably be, is like, I don't like this. This is embarrassing. You are embarrassing to me. And Terri sees that and is like, no, Devereaux is a vessel for the Black Lords, and that's why she's acting like this. And so Sandy was like suspicious of her own daughter. So Sandy would leave her daughter for extended periods of time with a maid while Sandy was off on retreats and fighting these spiritual battles.
Now we're definitely getting Valo vibes.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Also, like Nexium vibes. The like, I need to find someone rich to fund my lifestyle. Like,
she's just cherry picking.
All cults. Yeah.
She's like,
I like this.
A little of this cult, a little of that. Yeah. So in the winter of 1978, Sandy and Devereaux's relationship starts improving a little bit because Sandy starts paying more attention to Devereaux. And, as any 13-year-old with an estranged relationship with her mom probably would be, she's like, oh my God, you're finally like coming to my basketball games and stuff. This is cool.
Yeah.
But it turns out Devereaux is about to turn 14, at which point she would be allowed to determine which of her parents she wanted to live with. So it was kind of this manipulative ploy. And around this time, Sandy drafts a brand new will. You'll never guess who she leaves everything to.
Wait, who?
So Sandy leaves all of her possessions to Terri. Yeah, you're like, wait, I don't know.
Who though?
Who is it? Yeah, she leaves everything to Terri. She, like Glenn, she says it shouldn't be contested. And a few days later, weirdly enough, she gets Devereaux to draft a will as well, leaving her entire trust fund, which is $125,000. And if you want to just have your heart break for a second, her rock collection and basketball. What?
Okay, that's like crazy. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Why though?
Like, I remember being did anyone else, like, I wrote a will when I was a kid and I like left my Barbies to like my sister and like, here's all my worldly possessions.
Really
I was just
like,
gonna say that's fucking morbid, dude. Wow,
That's a morbid
good for
kid.
you.
Yeah. So Sandy had found a new love in a gentleman named Lynn, who is also part of conscious development. They fell in love, got engaged, and decided to take a pre-engagement trip or a pre-marriage trip to Hawaii. And they invite Devereaux. And she's like, oh my God, yay, you guys never invite me anywhere. I get to come with you. So while Lynn's napping on the beach, Sandy and Devereaux take an inflatable raft onto the lagoon. They're paddling out, and as they're paddling, apparently some wind and surf kicks up. A wave knocks the raft over, throws Sandy and Devereaux into the water. Sandy comes out of the water, tries to find Devereaux. She can't. She says she gets thrown into the reef and knocked out. She comes to and is screaming. Lynn hears her from the shore, calls rescuers, and they come out. They rescue Sandy, but they can't find Devereaux. Hours later, her body was discovered.
I was gonna say, I smell bullshit.
So what's interesting is that when Chuck and Sandy were married before getting divorced, apparently in one of their fights, Sandy had held a knife and said that Devereaux would be better off in heaven. So,
oh, Jesus.
So Chuck's super suspicious because he's like, look, Terri doesn't like our daughter. You've like said this shit before.
Yeah.
So Chuck's pretty convinced that Terri got Sandy to kill Devereaux for her. And, you know, Terri had convinced Sandy that she was possessed by the Black Lords. So, like, it stands to reason that she might have thought she was saving Devereaux. The one silver lining in this very, like, sad story is that thankfully in Texas, minors can't have wills. So Devereau's possessions didn't go to Terri. Yeah, no basketball, no rock collection. Yeah.
The rock collection stayed with Chuck.
With Chuck. Yeah. So there's the first two of the mysterious deaths. And that's where I'll hand it over to Ash.
Are you ready to keep this fucking train rolling?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay. Well, here we go. All right. So how do you feel about bloodletting? Because that's what we're going to talk about first.
Is that like leeches? Is that like what is bloodletting?
In this case, in the past, it was leeches, which just like, oh my God, that sounds like the worst fucking thing in the world. But for Terri, as things were escalating, she told her followers that the Black Lords had poisoned their blood. And at their next meeting, they were informed that they were going to start bloodletting. Otherwise, they would die. So they were like taking needles and like just donating blood.
So gross.
Which I can't do. Like,
no. Yeah, I'm scared.
No.
I would have been out in this exact moment if I'd made it this far.
Well, by mid-1978, she went from over 100 followers to just a few dozen. So I think maybe a few people were like,
you lost me at the blood.
Yeah.
The deaths that are happening.
Yeah, it's getting weird. So Terri informed her remaining followers that she was constantly warding off the toughest of the Black Lords to protect all of them, which was causing her constant pain that could only be remedied by precious stones. Look, you guys, if your girlfriend starts buying up precious stones like no other, watch out.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
As Michelle holds up her pile of
stones.
There's no Black Lords in your
my
house.
precious. The mysterious deaths continue. And next is Kenneth, Terri's son. Just a few months after Devereaux's death, her son Kenneth died after falling from a building on a construction site. It sounds like a freak accident, but weirdly, his life insurance benefits and savings were all left to his wife and kids. No, I'm just kidding. Terri. So it's Terri.
That is crazy.
So this makes 3 people in 2 years who died suddenly, leaving all of what they had, or if not very large portions, to Terri.
I mean, that's like not normal.
I would start to get suspicious, I think, at this point. I'd be like, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, no matter what religion or spirituality you are, I'm not a religious person, but I feel like it's abnormal to leave your entire savings to like your church or your temple, like, or like even more than that, like an individual like rabbi or priest or something. Like, I think that's, you don't do that.
Yeah, they weren't leaving it to the conscious development. They're like, Terri Hoffman.
Yeah, that just feels, this is bad news.
Bad news bears.
This is bad news.
So she says bye-bye to Ben in 1980, and she informs her followers of this via newsletter, which I thought was a fun way to make an announcement.
That is cool.
Like, hey guys, hope you've had a great summer. So me and Ben are no mas. Accepting love donations.
I imagine like one of those newsletter templates on like Microsoft Word, like the original, like old school templates.
Cliffy pops up. He's like, looks like you're making a newsletter to inform your followers of your recent divorce. Do you need some help?
Would you like to use the cult leader template?
Yeah.
So she marries Don Hoffman, and this is super awesome because he's a follower, and he is actually married to Terri's good friend Alice. But Terri and Don decide that they want to hook up, so Alice gives them written permission to get married like ASAP and leaves the cult.
She was threatened. She was definitely threatened.
Terry's like, if you stand in our way, the Black Lords are poisoning your blood, and you just need to get out of here.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go.
Just have them.
Yeah, you can
them.
have, you know. There's 1,000 fish in the sea. This is a little pattern that we see. Don later becomes convinced that he has terminal cancer and commits suicide in 1988. Weirdly, again, he left his money to Terri. People love leaving money to Terri. It's,
oh, Jesus.
I don't know if she's like having them write these wills at gunpoint or just like mental gunpoint. Like,
yeah. How do you even start that conversation? Like, hey, honey, like, let's redo your will and leave everything to me. Like, what is that? Or is she like hypnotizing them? Like, I don't think hypnosis works that way, though.
So one of the things that I heard was like, all of the people who were signing as witnesses were members of conscious development. So like, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that, yeah, they were either super drugged up or that she was like making them fraudulent or something. Like if it's all, there's not like actual attorneys and stuff involved.
Yeah, that's true. She probably wrote the will, and then the, what is it called? The people who like not executor.
I think so. That sounds right.
Or like those people who like have to watch you sign something.
Oh, notary.
The notary, like maybe she like one of the people in the cult was like a notary person.
Yeah. Oh, probably.
Very possible. Well, and like, okay, so super like weird fun fact. If your will is really simple, you can actually just like write your own will and sign it, and like it's legally binding. You can't be like, give 12% of this to this person. But if you're like, hey, give everything to my, my partner or my parents or my sister or whoever, like you don't have to even get it notarized. You don't have to go to an attorney. You can just like write it on some notebook paper and
oh my God, that's
hide
insane.
it under your pillow.
That's crazy.
So,
Michelle, if you could just go ahead and sign over everything over to me tonight, that'd be great. Don't worry. We'll be in great hands.
Patrons.
We're going to have a will making workshop on Thursday.
Everybody get out a piece of paper just for fun.
And then we're going to go to do a wilderness camp out.
Amazing.
Wow. Did we just threaten to murder your and our listeners?
Of course not.
We would never. Mm-mm.
But just leave everything to
you can make that out too. That's Fucked Up the Podcast or and Webcrawlers. Thank you.
And Webcrawlers.
We'll split it. Yeah.
50-50 split.
Down the middle.
Perfect.
But keep it simple or else you'll need a notary.
Or else we'll need a notary.
Mediator. Yep. Yeah. So this is really sad. Don did not have cancer.
Oh my God.
He was fucking fine. Terri, I mean, this isn't like proven anywhere, but I'm guessing old Terri convinced him that he had cancer.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and we see her do this again later too. So it's a fun little pattern of hers. So now we're up to the fourth suspicious death. I think Michelle talked a little bit earlier about Sandy Cleaver, and Sandy and Terri really bonded over the deaths of their children. So Sandy became stuck to Terri's side at this point. She gave Terri her house and started paying rent to Terri to live in it.
Just as you will.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She also took out a $300,000 life insurance policy.
Good.
I think Terri was probably throwing a lot of how to do a will workshops.
A lot. Yeah. A lot
She was on this,
workshops.
she was she borrowed it from Scientology. She was on the street corner, do you want a free stress test? And then she's like, oh my God, you have heart disease. just
make a will.
Make a will. I got you. I can see how this.
Totally.
See how she did it. She was also told by Terri that she was a former high priestess of Atlantis. And 3 months later, Louise, Sandy's elderly housekeeper, who did not want to go on this trip, joined Sandy on a trip to Colorado Springs. What up, Colorado? Even though this next part's a bummer. For a conscious development retreat. Sandy and Louise had driven off of a 450-foot cliff.
Oh, my
But shout out
God.
to Colorado.
Yeah, but in Colorado.
Yeah, but no, it is very sad. There were no skid marks or anything on the road. So it definitely seems like Sandy had convinced, because, and they had taken out a life insurance policy on
the housekeeper. This is fucking bad.
How is no one noticing this? Like, where's the FBI or whoever takes care of this shit?
Yeah, this is so many murders around one, or deaths around one person. Like,
right?
Whoever handles death certificates should be like, this is weird.
This is weird. This is starting to feel like
this
a trend.
person should have been fired 100%.
Hey, Stuart, we got another Terri Hoffman here.
Yeah.
That's the fourth.
Again.
That's the fourth one.
Or I guess it's like a life insurance person. Whoever's giving out the life insurance should be like, why is this woman getting so much life insurance? This feels weird.
Yeah. And more people, give her life insurance money. I wrote everything left to Terri. Aren't we bored of this by now? It's just like, oh, okay, let's just put the record on repeat. All right, everybody leaves everything to Terri. We can just assume that at this point. So Sandy's brother was suspicious. He's like, I don't know who this bitch is, and I don't know why my sister would leave everything to her. So he contests the will.
Finally.
And Terri, not wanting like heat on her, she opts to settle out of court and splits Sandy's trust and life insurance with her brother.
What a nice
Isn't
woman.
that nice?
It's like, I'll share.
Okay, fine. Halvesies.
Yeah, good karma points for Terri.
You know what? If
Way to go.
she believed, I feel like something that I often wonder is like, how much are these people actually buying their own bullshit? And if you really believe in karma, like, do you not realize that you're like racking up a lot of the bad kind?
It's crazy. Yeah, I know. I don't know what these people are thinking. Like, she must not truly believe it, or she believed it at first and then realized like, oh, I can make a lot of money and just like this life will be great. Who knows what the next one will be,
YOLO or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was kind of the question I was asking myself this whole time was like, is she a cult leader bought into her own mysticism, or is she like a manipulative, like, I don't believe in any of this, but I'm going to make you all so that you follow me?
If you're listening, call in and let us know what you think, because I mean, it's weird, like, and probably with all cult leaders, like, do you think they believe, or do they believe in the beginning and then just get tied into the ego of it, or like, what do you think?
That's what I think. I mean, I think some people definitely go out with malicious intent to begin with, but I do think that a lot of people are, they say that path to hell is paved with good intentions. Like, I do believe that sometimes people in the beginning really think they are doing something good for these other people, usually because they're narcissists. So they're like,
yes.
I totally know. So I can like definitely help you guys. And then the more people are like, wow, you're helping me, they're like, wow, it's probably because I'm reincarnation of Jesus or something. And then I think
or a nun.
It just takes off from there.
Yeah. Also, I'm wondering, like, when she had that initial, I'm hearing voices and I'm seeing visions, like, is that schizophrenia, or is that some sort of disorder maybe? And that's, I mean, who knows how that has played out through the, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
One of the things in one of my sources, they were talking about this phenomena of like sensed presence visions, where like if you're in a very like you're experiencing a lot of trauma or like a really hard emotional time, you'll like it's not uncommon for people to feel kind of a sensed presence of like,
oh, interesting.
Oh, someone's with me. You know, people like that. Oh, like I felt the spirit of the Lord with me, or like I felt like my grandma was there with me. Like, and so there are some theories that like because she had been going through this like really difficult traumatic time, that maybe that vision was like this sensed presence phenomena kind of taking off. So,
oh, that's cool. I'm gonna Google that. That's interesting. Sensed presence.
Also, though, she doesn't seem like the most mentally stable woman that I've heard of.
Fair.
So might be some stuff going on, you know, in the background.
Get your cocktail swords, ladies.
There's this newspaper article that comes out and it kind of is like, hey, this bitch isn't cool. So she kind of goes into hiding for a little bit. But after the scandal dies down, she like totally rebrands. And man, a rebrand can just like really help a cult leader out. I mean,
yes,
Bhagwan turning into Osho. Yeah. People still quote Osho like every fucking day. It's like, you know, he was a cult leader who tried to murder people and sexually abuse them. But like, no, totally. Just like look around you and take a breath in and know that all is well. Osho. Ashley Richards.
So amazing. That's
or who is it? Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Oh my God, that's really funny.
So she is doing counseling meetings and counseling sessions and small meetings from her house. And she even built a conscious development group in Chicago and an acupressure massage business just to like
good.
Round it all out.
Round it out.
Why not?
I've heard she was thinking about buying a laundromat for a while, but
yeah, donut shop.
Just, you know, whatevs.
You got to diversify.
Exactly. Like Wu-Tang said, you better diversify your bonds. You guys are like, what? They did, though, I swear.
Not a Wu-Tang head, but I believe you.
So she also starts selling magic jewelry again, advising on finance and career changes, writing a book on manifesting wealth. I mean, I don't know when she's
Jack
sleeping.
Of all trades.
Yeah. She's fucking busy.
Wow. Boss lady Terri.
Yeah, the book was actually called How to Kill Your Followers and Steal Their Money. Huge hit. #1 times bestseller.
I'm really glad she wasn't alive during Instagram.
Oh my God.
She would have had the most annoying Instagram presence, I bet you.
Yes. Yes.
Wait, speaking of annoying Instagram presence, I want to see if you guys can guess what another move of hers was. What does every kind of like washed up singer or pop star or television show person, like what do they come out with when they're no longer relevant?
A reality show?
Come on. But like they'll have a reality show.
Makeup, shoes.
Ooh, makeup. You're warm. You're warm on makeup. Paris Hilton.
Perfume?
Yes.
Perfume? Oh my God.
So she totally has her own line of perfume.
Stop
She's
it.
got everything.
Oh my God.
She's got her hands in all the pies just in case something doesn't work out, you know? But for somebody who like believed so much in manifesting, it's like, why don't you just believe in like your perfume line or something? Like, but she wants it all. She wants the world, Terri. Mm-hmm. She's out of control.
I'm trying to find it, like to buy it, but I can't.
You're like, I need this.
I'm so curious about what it would smell like, but I can't find it.
It was probably in the 80s. I don't know if you would want anything 40.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're not still
not still in production.
You know what, though? Like, if anybody could find that on eBay, you should do it and send it to Allie. and
Yeah, or send it to you
like
guys. I'm like
one of us, and we could do like a sisterhood of the traveling perfume type of
It
thing.
smells different on everyone based on your Akashic records.
But it smells good for everybody, though, no matter what your body type is.
Oh my God.
So the deaths continue.
But everyone smells
But everybody
amazing.
smells amazing. Yeah. One of Terri's followers, Robin Ottstott, rose to second in command role at some point, but it seems like quite a few people rose to like second in command. I feel like she kind of threw that title out willy-nilly. Like, oh yeah, this is my right-hand man, John.
Yeah.
Here's my other right-hand man, like Bill. And then I don't know why I'm being so sexist.
Robin.
And then Michelle, my right-hand lady, Allie, Ashley, she just like had a ton of right-hand friends. So it's like, I don't know. That second in command doesn't sound like it means a whole lot in Terri's world. Yeah. It's like the assistant.
Doesn't hold a lot of weight.
Assistant to the regional manager. Are you an Office fan? Because me and Michelle will like go off all day with these references.
I do love The Office. Yes.
Love The Office. Assistant to the cult leader. So this is sad, but also like really fun. Terri convinced Robin that her soulmate was an invisible CIA agent named George G, which kind of reminds me of like George Glass.
Yeah, what?
Your soulmate's a man named George Tropicana. No, I mean George G.
George G. He's invisible. He's a CIA agent, and they can never meet because of matters of national security.
This is the craziest thing she's done, in my opinion.
No. So Robin journals about dinners and long conversations and walks on the beach, everything that her and George did together. She was incredibly happy with her invisible CIA agent.
Her invisible CIA agent boyfriend. Good
Men,
for her.
you can't live him. You can't live without him. Am I right, ladies?
This is insane.
Honestly, some of my past relationships would have been way easier if the men had just been invisible CIA agents.
Yeah, some of them felt like invisible CIA agents. I get it.
Oh God, it's so true.
They're like, she's like, it's not that weird. So in April 1987, her health took a bit of a turn. She probably had like the fucking common cold or something. But Terri informs her that she had gotten a fatal hepatitis infection from the Black Lords via a banana peel.
Okay.
So let's just that.
Okay.
I mean, let that sink in. Like, I don't even. Not
Can't even
the
expand on that.
banana
It's just-
itself, like the peel. That's the most powerful part. Everybody knows that, you guys. So later that month, surprise, surprise, really sadly, Robin dies by suicide, leaving a note behind just for Terri, nothing for her son or her family, saying that she apologizes 3,000 times every day or some shit for like something that she said to Terri the week before that was offensive. Right, Michelle? I don't have the exact wording in front of me, but
essentially that.
the suicide note was basically like, dude, I'm so sorry.
I'm so
Terri.
sorry.
Oh, God.
And nothing to her family.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So I think she just didn't want to die slowly from the hepatitis banana peel. And she felt so bad for, all of the terrible things she was doing to Terri, like giving her money and just like being such a bitch, dude. And like Dawn, again, seeing a pattern, she wasn't actually sick and she left all her money to Terri. Terri must have so much money by now.
Yeah, Terri's probably loaded.
This becomes such a lather, rinse, repeat too. Like, it's just bananas.
There you go.
It's like How many people? Oh man. I was like, God, I didn't even know I did that.
The story is bananas.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice.
So next we have Mary Levinson. She was a member of the smaller Chicago chapter, and she attended retreats, spent one-on-one time with Terri. She was like super consumed with the cult immediately. She also believed in reincarnation and was desperate to take the next step in her spiritual journey. She wrote that she didn't feel like doing the soul work that like she needed to do in this lifetime. So on November 30th, 1987, Mary took an overdose of pills and died by suicide only a few days after receiving a $125 divorce settlement. $125,000.
$125. I mean, that's so fishy. This is crazy.
They also found like a small needle mark on her somewhere. So I call bullshit.
Oh.
I feel like
I
she
call bullshit too.
like poisoned them with I feel like one of her minions poisoned Mary with some sort of like indetectable.
Yeah. Also just weird that all these people are like dying of suicide allegedly the same way of like pill. I don't know. It's just weird. This is
Fairy Teal Swan.
Pretty consistent.
She's like
MO.
the OG Teal Swan. Just like way less hot though.
Yeah. I Googled Terri Hoffman Teal Swan to see if like Teal Swan ever like referenced her, but I couldn't find anything because I was like, I wouldn't put it past Teal Swan to like quote her or something, but no.
You know, I bet she wouldn't give Terri credit, but she definitely stole some of Terry's shit.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't know if you know, I mean, I'm sure you do, but Teal has access to all the Akashic records.
Oh, well,
Obviously.
yeah. Teal's God, essentially.
Yeah. So, like, don't worry about that.
Fun sidebar. One of my friends was actually like Teal's right-hand person for a while and dated Teal's ex. Like Teal set her up with her ex.
Excuse you? Do you have any inside scoops?
It's okay. It was my friend's friend. So she showed me the girl's like Instagram and how she's like crying about the documentary about Teal and saying everything's so unfair. And so she has some stories. I can.
The new documentary?
Yeah.
That was just out?
Yeah. So and
Wait, the little European girl, she's crying and saying it's unfair?
I didn't watch the Teal Swan documentary. You know this.
Oh God, we have to binge or bust it.
But yeah, so my friend, who's
Idea.
actually her name is also Allison. She told me that this girl who like went to follow Teal, like one day was like talking to her and trying to convince her that her dad had molested her when she was a kid, and she's like, nope, none of that.
Yeah, she tells the same story like to everyone. Yeah.
Everybody got molested as a kid.
Yeah.
In Teal's book.
So there's
Oh
my fun
God.
like 6 degrees of separation from Teal Swan, I guess.
That's crazy. And your friend still like, or your friend's
Still
friend
in.
like still stands by Teal.
Yep, very much still in the Tealosphere.
You need to send me the Instagram link because now I need to see if it's the girl that I'm thinking of from the documentary.
I'll text Allison. See if I
And
can
then
do it.
I will tell you about the documentary because I'll probably be giving you
A bit
the
your best on it.
low on your friends.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if it's that blonde girl who was dating
That's
Blake.
what I'm saying.
It is a blonde girl. I know that.
Thank you. Blake. Is it Blake that you're talking about?
Probably.
Michelle?
Okay, I'll text. I'm so sorry I didn't come prepared with this
Wow,
information.
you
I
need to
didn't
get
know
your
this would
shit
come up.
together. God.
I'll figure this out. I'll email the group.
Yeah, you got to get
Okay.
I'm curious.
I because I'm like really certain that she's referencing Blake and the
and that blonde
the blonde chick.
Probably. That feels like it could be right. I'll ask. I'll find out.
Yeah,
Okay.
let us know, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Circle back on this. Take this offline.
So let's see who dies next. Okay, so actually now we don't have a death, but we have like a strange disappearance. So Charles Southern, and this is just a few days after Mary's death, and he's another Chicago branch member. He goes missing. His family is like, where the fuck is he? He had been super involved in Conscious Mind and basically suffered a breakdown. So they found him and they took him to the hospital. And then when he got out, he was like, like, I'm done with that stuff. I'm actually going to India, because he had been kind of like on this soul searching worldwide journey forever. And everybody knows if you're going to go find yourself, you have to go to India. I mean, like,
yeah, it's the first part of Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah. So, like, step one. No.
Oh, it's the second part. It's the pray
second.
part.
Yeah.
The eat,
I was
totally.
like,
I'm so sorry.
dare you?
I'm sorry to our Lord and Savior, Julia Roberts.
Excuse me. The movie sucked. The book was awesome. What up, Liz Gilbert? Okay. Sorry. I just had to like
Shout out
throw that out there. So, he says he's going to India, and he becomes uncommunicative for weeks. And they go to his house because they're not able to get a hold of him. And he was supposed to have returned from India for like a couple weeks ago. And they find his passport sitting on his desk with no India stamps. Like, he had never left the country. He also like folded up some black clothes and put like a black hat on top of it, which is like a Nigerian symbol for death, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who knew? He has never been seen again. There was a Unsolved Mysteries episode that I watched on him.
Oh.
And he's just like, he had a mental breakdown. Then he said that he like wasn't going to be involved in the cult anymore, and he was going to go find himself somewhere else, and that nobody ever saw him again.
Oh, sounds like the Black Lords got him.
Yeah.
Ugh. God damn it. Every fucking time. So now this is okay. So now we're like deviating away from this suicide and money pattern, because now we have Jill Bounds, and this is a really brutal murder. In 1988, just 4 days after Dawn's suicide, Jill Bounds was found brutally murdered. She was a follower of Terri's and deep into the metaphysical, always consulting her tarot cards and astrological charts, and just like obviously super into Terri. That was her jam. And people got really worried one day when she didn't show up for work. So she had decided to leave the cult. And like so many domestic abuse relationships, you're actually in more danger often when you leave.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which is such a like misconception that people are like, why don't they just leave? It's like, because
people don't get it.
Yeah, they might get murdered. That's why.
Easy.
Yeah. Terri sent cockroaches to Jill's house to like get her home infested.
No,
which is
don't like that.
Like really creatively fucked up.
That's insane. Because at some point Terri had to like first come up with that idea, then like procure the cockroaches, and then take them over to the house. Like that's nuts. You're
like, that is the craziest thing I've heard all day. Okay.
It's yeah.
Now that is bananas.
Now that I draw the line at the cockroach.
Everything else, all right. Nope. We are.
But this
hard pass.
Yeah. So, like I said, she was found brutally murdered after she had left the cult and been had her house infested with cockroaches. And her mom found a strange drawing outside of her house that was like weirdly culty. It had the letter J, a bunch of grapes, an omega symbol, the last letter in the Greek alphabet, and a penis surrounded by several lightning bolts that were often called the Satanic S.
I know my next tattoo.
Oh my God, can we all get matching ones?
Please put it on your neck. Please make this a neck tattoo.
That's insane.
I will pay you $1,000 to get that tattooed on your neck.
Hey, Webcrawler patrons. We're going to start a
$1,000 patrons.
Oh, gosh.
So David and Glenda Goodman are our next victims. Around 1988, everybody else has fucking died. or been killed. So she's got to get some new people to fund her adventures. So no way.
I just Googled penis surrounded by lightning satanic, and I clicked on a link and
never click on it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for if you heard me say ooh. And if you're watching the video.
Wait,
it was,
I want to see it.
No, it was porn.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can still send it to you if you want.
No.
But it was.
I thought maybe it would be like a funny drawing or something.
It's porn.
Was somebody like dressed like the devil? Like in like red horns and everything. Like,
the link said is penis enlargement satanic? So I was like, that's a weird article. Like, I wonder. And so I clicked it, and then it was a man doing stuff to his
clickbait. They got you.
Allie, I'm glad that you that you warned us, because this is my day job computer that I use for recording, and I don't need IT.
Yeah, you don't need that.
No,
nonsense.
reaching out like,
yeah.
Why were you Googling? I'm sorry.
Satanic penis.
Anyways,
oh boy,
continue.
So, she meets David and Glenda Goodman, who actually aren't David and Glenda Goodman when they meet. They're strangers, and she's like, you know what? You guys are right for each other. Let's make this a fish. So she like introduces and marries them. Weirdly, they both have a ton of money.
Surprise, surprise.
I don't hang out with poor people like you, you know. She told both of them that they had been reincarnated 800,000 times. That would be so discouraging to me, and be like, wait, I'm sorry, I've lived 800,000 like when do we stop this?
Yeah.
This seems like a lot.
Like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, also the planet hasn't even, like, humans haven't even been alive for that long.
Put your questions on the shelf, Allie.
Yeah.
That's what they say in Mormonism, and that's when we say when we don't know the answer to things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
I feel like it's the Black Lords that are making you question this.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I have a lot of themes.
We got on.
Yeah.
Audit him. We gotta get him out of you.
Crazy. And they even apparently used to be Adam and Eve and the Roman god and goddesses, Jupiter and Venus. So
that's fun.
I mean, like, kind of a big deal. No biggie.
Yeah.
They had intense drug-induced meditation with Terri to talk to God. Not gonna lie, but I kind of feel like you're more likely to have a like I talk to God experience if you take drugs first.
Seems legit.
As somebody who's like done a lot of drugs in my life, but who is sober now. Woohoo!
Oh, hey, queen.
Hey, you too. High five, air five for people who can't see.
I don't do anything worse than smoking weed.
Get out of here, loser.
Yeah, you can't sit with us. Yeah, you know, I've had some pretty godly experiences. So it's like, she's like, I feel like that really shows a lack of faith in your ability, because you don't even think that you can convince people that like they're in a purple realm where they have a crystal city with like a crystal house.
Wait, did you say Crystal Titty? Because I think it says Crystal City.
Crystal City. Everybody has crystal titties there too. It's a wonderful place.
That's so funny.
I'm fine with the Crystal Titties, but I don't think that's what you meant.
It's a crystal city. They got crystal titties.
I'd move there.
They were like super stoked. They're like, here, you should have some cars and money and stuff like that. But after they had given her almost or over $100,000 and they still weren't at her level of spirituality, they were kind of like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we've given you a lot of money and meditated with you and stuff a bunch, and we're still feeling like pretty human. So she's like, yeah, well, obviously that's because you're still connected with your family and they're stealing your energy.
Ooh, big cult energy.
Classic cult move 101.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to stop talking to everyone you're close with and only talk to me.
That's how you reach the next level.
Yeah.
So you guys, guess what happens next? Come on.
They live long, prosperous lives and end up finding their way. They die of old age, holding hands together, and everyone's happy.
Super warm, but I'm going to give Allie a guess too.
They leave all their money to Terri and then disappear or die in a suicide.
Yeah, like a murder-suicide, Romeo Juliet type of thing. Except for like, I don't know if the crime scene made like a whole lot of sense. There were like 2 guns and there was like a notebook at the end of their feet that was like a written will that was like, we leave everything to Terri.
It's all you need.
Like Michelle said, that's all you need. So I don't know, guys. I'm feeling a little suspicious if all of these are really suicides. You know?
Yeah.
So to wrap it up, formal investigations and civil suits finally start to pop up against Terri. Finally, people are like, you know what? Things feel shady around this lady. She's a shady lady, that Terri.
With her seedy gems.
And there was no concrete evidence that she was the cause of any of these deaths, unfortunately. But she did go broke and filed for bankruptcy in 1991. But she didn't report all of her assets because she's an asshole. So she got charged with bankruptcy. Fraud. She spent a year in prison. I personally can't say that I think justice was served.
No, 100% no.
Especially because she got out and changed her name to Terri Keenly. Weirdly kept the first name. I feel like I would have just done a total rebrand.
A total redo.
Yeah. And then she married another dude. So I guess we're on to, I heard that 5 is the lucky number. Lucky number 5.
Yeah, God.
Right? And in 2005, she started selling pictures online of like, she called them angel photographs. They were like fucking stupid. Just think of like any website in 2005 and
GeoCities.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, it can't be seen by the naked eye. Oh. And then she died at 77 in 2015.
I think she died on Halloween.
Did she?
I think that.
I hate when I'm not as prepared as somebody else.
Terri Hoffman today.
No, only because I just Googled her. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, she died October 31st.
Oh, spooky.
Fitting.
Very fitting.
Yeah.
Very spooky.
Very fitting for an evil bitch.
Yeah. Also,
that's kind of like the only interesting thing about her dying on Halloween. I mean, everything's interesting, but that's like the only like actual like spooky thing about her.
She's just so basic textbook cult leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a scammer. Wow, this was crazy. I've never heard of her before, but I love a female cult leader. Someone called in once and was like, there's no female cult leaders. And we were like, no, that's not true. There's like a ton of female cult leaders.
We're like, we got you.
We just don't hear about them. Yeah, I don't think we hear about them as much. So we love a female cult leader. Guys, remind us again, like your social media, where you can find your podcast, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'll go first. So you can find everything on our website, tsfuthepodcast.com. We have bingo that you can play along with our episodes. Murder
fun.
bingo, cult bingo, bingo, fucked up bingo. We also have a page there where you can go and check out That's So Fucked Up Presents. We just did our Colorado Carnage season, and now we have New York Noir coming out. And yeah, you can find our merch store, everything.
All right there.
Yeah, it's kind of a one-stop shop, tsfuthepodcast.com.
Mm-hmm. And at TSFU the podcast on Instagram. And we also have a Discord. Would you guys have a Discord, right? I need to join your
Yes,
Discord.
we love our
I need to
Discord.
join your
Yeah, guys, join their Discord.
Yeah, let's all be in all the
let's-
Discords.
Let's all join forces.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Discord is so fun. We love our Discord community. They're like, and they like meet up with each other. It's so
That's
cute.
amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it's really
What do you have a name for your fans?
I've met up with my listeners
Yeah, that's how
because
we
I'm,
became friends.
I'm still really small time like that. You know, I'm like, Michelle's like, do you want to be my friend? Is that weird? I'm like, I actually don't have any friends, so it's not
I'm like,
weird.
I promise I
and
won't single white female you.
I'll take you up on it.
I would. I just don't think we have Los Angeles listeners, to be honest.
Get
Like, I don't
out
know. I
of
don't think any
here.
I
You're
think
about
most
to
of
get
them
so
live,
many
like,
DMs.
Chicago.
That's like, bitch, you better have a meetup soon. You just like,
I know.
You just called yourself out.
Oh wait, and
We'll
Allie,
come though. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be
Right?
fun. I'd fly to LA, come hang out.
Yeah, let's do it.
Allie, do we get to do the sign off where we change our middle name to a thing that?
Oh my God, yes. I would love that. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for listening. I am Allie CD Gems Siegel.
And I'm Michelle, cocktail sword for a real sword, Mosier.
Oh, this is fun. Okay. I'm Ashley Insurance Scam Richards.
Love it.
So good. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.